What's up, DanceFam? Welcome to another episode of The Session. Today we got a pretty cool episode. We're going to be reviewing Meghan Trainor's dance video to what's it called, No Excuses. We got two other topics that we're going to get to. One is how social media is affecting dance nowadays, and how people deal with dance while they're in school, or even if they're going to school for dance. And we'll just break down every part of it. As always, I am your host, Russ Santos, aka Lock and Robin. Back again, whether you like it or not, whether or not my voice is annoying to you or not.
It's beautiful.
Thank you, Justin.
Speaking
of, the man talking is Justin Cortez. You know him. He's been here for quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Because he's old.
I didn't think I would be here this long.
I knew.
I thought, when Dem Raider Boys gets on, then I'll leave.
You got it.
14 weeks in.
You got a taste, and then you just wanted to stay.
Hey, I love doing the show, to be honest.
And let's talk about your background, just in case people are new or have forgotten. He's C-Funk, Capital Funk, Tito BoyScouts, of course, Culture Shock DC alum, former artistic director of Future Shock DC, and Dem Raider Boys.
And Major Def alum.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Major Def.
I always forget that one.
Me too. And we have a special guest with us today, Annie Mancuso. How are you doing?
I'm good.
We have a female on the panel.
The second time in the last
Wow.
months.
I'm honored.
I am quite excited just to hear someone other than you and Esther.
That's fair.
Annie, you are a current Capital Funk captain.
Yes.
Correct.
Oh,
How's that going? How's the year going so far?
It's really good. We wrapped up auditions back in early September, and we have 8 new wonderful newbies. So
Nice.
We're integrating them onto the team, and we're just one big family. Really love the direction we're going in, so we're just hoping to keep pushing through.
Awesome. How many people you guys have?
Total now?
We're I think a total of 48.
Still 48? What happened?
I think we're 48. We're under 50, but we're over 40.
That's nuts, man.
It's a very big team.
But what else have you been up to? What else is your background in terms of dance, I guess, so that people know where you're coming from?
Sure. So I grew up in Queens, New York. I went to a local dance studio over there for most of my life. I stopped after basically last year. I was still in my recital last year when I came home. But I did studio competition there, and then I went to Performing Arts High School in the middle of Manhattan. I studied modern and ballet for 4 years, 5 days a week, 3 hours a day.
Jesus.
It was great.
How old were you when you started?
Started dancing, I was 3.5.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's very typical, back there, that's what you do. It's a social thing more so, because I was very shy, still am. So I don't know how well it actually worked. But my mom signed me up for classes because all of my friends in preschool were going to this one studio. Wow. And then by the end of the year, I was the only one that wound up staying. So yeah, I actually ran off the stage my first dance recital.
So did we.
I've done that.
Yeah.
You did that as an adult. That's different.
Oh, I was 3.5, so.
That's fine.
But yeah, so that's my background, performing arts, and now I currently am a senior at GW studying dance and psychology.
Dope.
So I'm just kind of dabbling in everything, I guess.
And I know you're interning at the Kennedy Center right now, right?
Yes.
Do you have plans to go into theater at all?
It's not really theater. I'm in the education department.
Okay.
I'm very interested in arts education and bringing an arts program or implementing arts programs into schools that have, that serve underprivileged children. I feel like everybody deserves to harness their creativity at such a young age, because if you miss that, then there's a lot of opportunities you also miss out on.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's great.
What are we doing?
Oh, Esther's doing that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He's working on his.
I have a podcast.
That's good. I mean, I worked with kids before. I mean, we've done something.
I don't know. Not the way she's doing things.
No.
Making us look bad.
I mean, right now, since I'm an intern, I'm kind of just looking over spreadsheets and doing research. It's not really doing anything yet, but I don't know. I'm still deciding. Yeah.
Gotta start somewhere.
That's awesome. Well, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Really excited to have you on, just because to get another point of view on things, because we tend to have similar thoughts. You and I, Justin.
Yeah.
I mean, we differ in some areas. Actually, I have pretty strong opinions about other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I guess it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter you're here.
Can't get rid of him yet.
I keep getting blown up here. Okay, anyway, let's move on to our main topic. It's a video review, a dance video review. Meghan Trainor's music video, but not her main music video. It's she calls it a dance video, and that's pretty much exactly what it is. It's directed by Tim Milgram and choreographed by Charm LaDonna. I'm not sure if you have seen anything of them. Or
I haven't either.
Oh, wow.
I've seen most of the dancers in the video, but I don't believe I've ever heard of the choreographer.
Sure. I think she's done a lot for Meghan Trainor, actually.
Okay.
That would make sense.
That, and I know Tim has. I've seen a bunch of his other videos.
Yeah, he works at Millennium.
Okay,
He films
that
all
makes
that
sense.
stuff.
That makes sense because Casey Rice is in a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess, like you said, or mentioned to
Or
me
he
before,
worked there. I'm not sure, but
mentioned to me before that she's been at Millennium for a little bit.
yeah.
So let's jump right into it. Annie, why don't you talk about this for a little bit? What did you like about it? And unless you have more strong negative opinions, then you can go into that if you want.
I don't know. I mean, I thought it was cute, but that's like as much as I can really say about it. I don't like, not to like be negative or anything, but I feel like we see these kids so much that it's kind of like overexposure to them now that
You see these kids.
Exactly. Well, I yeah, social media. Like I think they're incredibly talented, and I think actually all of them are younger than me.
They seem yeah.
So that's also kind of like, oh darn, like where am I going?
How do you think we feel?
We look at you and think the same thing.
That's true. But we just did.
So I mean, it was good. The choreography wasn't my favorite. I thought they performed it well because you know that's what they were hired to do.
Right.
Something in particular that kind of bothered me about it, I guess, was the overacting of the facials at one point. It's like you're not on stage, and I feel like you save that for stage. For a video, it's like kind of different. And when you're overperforming to a camera, I know you're supposed to, but like for me, it just felt like out of place. I could be totally misguided with that, but I just was kind of uncomfortable, like seeing like the that like facial stuff.
Aggressive facials.
It's like too aggressive.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's because, I mean, I could be 100% wrong and just overgeneralizing them, but I think it's because they're so used to the dance scene over, at least at, you know, Millennium or wherever else they dance. Yeah. They're always getting filmed. Like, people go to class with the expectation of getting filmed. They dress up, they do all these things. Like, this is actually, like, that is the culture over there.
And listen to our previous episode.
Literally last week's episode was about that.
Yeah. And it's like, in one way, it's like kind of disheartening because like, when do you dance just to dance? And like, there's no denying that they love it, but it's just different, I guess, from what we're used to. So I think seeing their culture being brought into this video, like, and as an outsider, like that was something I definitely picked up on first. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to jump in here, Justin.
Go ahead.
So, because I picked up a similar opinion, I guess, or thing, let's call it, about the facials, but it was a more positive one. I focused on one dancer in particular. I'm not sure I pronounced her name, but it's like Tati McQuay.
Oh yeah, she came in. She was like the 5th dancer to come in.
Yeah. She was wearing overalls and like a light teal or something.
No, she's super talented.
But I loved her facials the most because they were really subtle and just like, I don't know, they seemed the most genuine, as if she was actually doing that because she was the song or something like that. I don't know if what I'm trying to say is coming across, but like, again, it just seemed really genuine and compared to everyone else. Because again, like what you said, a lot of the facials were just overly aggressive or over the top, and they just didn't seem like they fit.
Exactly.
I guess it brought me out of what that music video was trying to be, or the song was supposed to say, at least. Even like compared to Casey Rice and her facials, she's just either happy or not. And that's about it. But with Tati, am I saying her name right?
Yeah, it's Tati.
Tati, she had her facials were all over the place. Just a really pleasing look, and like one part, it's like some kind of confusing dance, and she's like really going nuts with it. I don't know. For some reason, that really stuck with me compared to like
in a good
the rest.
way?
Yeah,
In a good way.
Really good way. Justin, what'd you think, man?
I think overall, I had qualms with the facials and everything, but like for me, and I say this like every time we watch on World of Dance, I cannot stand when they're singing the song.
Oh, I
also
dislike that because it just brings me back to like the studio competition days. It's like, why are we still on that? Like,
yeah, I know.
I don't know. I love it, but
it doesn't make sense to sing the song like you're dancing and everything. To me, I think it takes away. And I don't know if that's something that's changing in the dance culture right now, especially over there. but I just can't stand it. That's just like this is a personal thing for me. What I did like was that, there is a lot of varying ranges in the dancers themselves. Like they went from like kind of like a mid-range age to like really young to like a little bit older. Like
just
they're
a little bit,
very
yeah.
like pretty varying, just like under 20s.
I don't know, I feel like they're all in high school or something.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
there was like babies though. Like
yeah,
I know
I
that.
forgot what her name is, but the one in the middle with the ponytails or ponytail. I don't remember, but
the Asian one.
she was was really tiny, really cute.
Yeah.
They're very aggressive facials.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're all very, very, very talented, and I
Yes.
can see that. But facials didn't match the song. In my opinion, just the one girl. I do remember exactly the girl you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like she definitely emoted what was being said in the song really well.
Mm-hmm.
But singing the song while you're dancing to it, I
especially if it's a music video, like we know what we're what we're listening to.
Yeah.
You're not Meghan Trainor.
I know. I was excited to see Casey because I grew to be a big fan of hers
From Roll the Dance.
But then she sang the song too, and I was like, oh god. It's like when Derek said pop lock, I was like,
Oh, you're like, that's so wrong.
so disappointed.
But you would think like if it wasn't wanted, the director would have picked up on it and would be like, hey, let's do it again. Hey, no singing.
And that's the thing that I feel like is changing in the culture, is that like that's becoming more acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And just this is my personal opinion, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to sing the song. Like it's already being sung. Like you should be you can use that time to do more with your face.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That's pretty much it.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
For me, overall, this video kind of gave me like a Target commercial kind of feel.
Yeah.
Like it could be an ad. Like
You're
they could just they could put the logo up at the end, and I'd be like, "Yep, that's right."
Back to school.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's
Back
perfect.
to school commercial.
It's not necessarily a bad thing because I tend to love Target commercials, just because of like the fun feel of it.
Yeah,
so like you said, it was a very fun video, I guess. I do like that their outfits were not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was able to at least personalize. I'm not sure if they actually got to shows that, but at least they were all different. The colors were nice, bright, vibrant ones, edgy in terms of like the style and theme, but still fun. So very light but edgy, in a way. I don't know is a crop top automatically edgy? I don't know.
Yeah.
Overalls, definitely.
Crop top with a sports bra showing, that's edgy, right?
I don't know.
Overalls with a crop top. Huh?
I guess maybe a little bit.
Crop tops are in. I'm gonna wear one now.
I love crop tops.
Perfect. What else? I did like the cipher part towards the end.
That was really, really good.
Because I always love a good cipher as long as it's done right.
Yeah.
It did allow some of the dancers to showcase their individuality and their personality a little more. And then there was this one contemporary dancer.
This is what I was actually gonna say. So when I had seen that,
lay it on me.
So this contemporary dancer, I've been following her since she's like a kid. Like
Autumn Miller?
Yeah, I love Autumn Miller. Like I'm such a huge fan of her because she's so talented. Like she's just super nuanced and like she's matured so much since like watching her from the beginning. But like she wasn't in the video. She was only in that part. And I was confused. I was like, because she can do these styles. Yes, she's definitely more contemporary. But like it just, I don't know. It threw me off to see her for 2 seconds and then have her like go away.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you did turns. Okay. Bye. Like, I don't know.
And then she's gone.
Yeah, it was just really out of place.
Where'd that tall girl go?
Yeah.
And like it was a hard cut from that section. Like after that part, it was cut to them like jamming out. And she's nowhere to be found.
I was looking for her. She wasn't even in the
She came on the
bag.
first day and was like, I can't make it anymore.
Well, no, so that's the thing. I feel like she wasn't even part of the video initially. And then maybe they wanted to maybe they had someone else do that part in contemporary. And they were like, no, we actually need a real contemporary dancer. Hey, I know someone. Let's get her in. Then they reshot that part or something.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, like, a lot of those dancers can do
do it,
contemporary.
right?
Like,
Yeah, that's what I
Casey
figured.
is so good at contemporary
Yeah, that's what I
as
figured
well.
too.
Like, Charlize, also very good at contemporary. Tati, I'm pretty sure, as well. It's like all of them can do everything.
Because I feel like if you start that young, you usually start with that style, right?
You kind of,
Usually.
you're like a jack of all trades.
Yeah. And then you move into like urban dance and hip hop.
Yeah, and you figure out what you like best.
Oh.
Which is usually the new thing, right? Like if you start with one thing, you learn something new, and then you follow it for a while, you tend to like that new thing more than the original.
Usually,
in my opinion. I don't know.
Well, I think because as you mature, you like tailor more to your own interests. Like
Fair.
that's like I love contemporary and stuff, but I didn't know that I liked hip hop this much until I came to college. So,
well, welcome.
It's a new world.
It's a
whole new world
with a lot more drama.
Yes.
and
Isn't it?
and issues. Well, so like hip hop started because of like social injustices and stuff like that. So it's built on dramas.
Yes.
Anyway, that could be a whole nother topic.
Oh.
I did like the direction overall though, because it kind of gave you that feel of a one-shot take video.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. Even there were like hard cuts and there were close-ups and then pan-outs, really hard cuts like that. But it still had that overall feel as if it was supposed to be a one-shot take. So I liked it. I understand why they do it because, you know, it lets them emphasize on certain other things, and, you know, it doesn't show fatigue for certain dancers because they can do it as many times as they need to, starting at different points of the set. I mean, you guys know from doing C-Funk videos. What did you guys think of the direction overall, though?
I guess I could talk about that. I agree with you generally. The only thing that I had a problem with, I felt like the cuts were a little bit too frequent. Like there were a lot of times where I would have like really like enjoyed just seeing like a section of choreography uninterrupted. More so in like at the beginning of the dancing. That's just a personal like aesthetic that I like. I just like being able to see like the sentence without getting cut out and everything.
Sure.
But otherwise, I thought that, you know, it's a successful choreography video, for the most part. Like obviously we have our issues with it in terms of like singing or the contemporary dancer that just appeared and disappeared.
Yeah, but really good disappearing technique.
Yeah,
yes.
Magic trick.
Yeah.
And gross.
It's the bubble tea.
Yeah. Come back. Edit it out, please. No. I totally lost my train of thought.
Actually, me too.
We're talking about the direction.
The direction, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but like I did like the colors that they used was great. The dancers are incredibly talented. They're such great dancers, and they dance with so much energy and pizzazz.
Yeah.
I think as a choreography video, is a successful one overall.
Personally, for me, I really didn't pay too much attention to the direction because I was so focused on both the choreography and the dancers themselves. And I think that's why videos like this are made. They use all these names that you're so familiar with, that you see all the time, that you don't really pay attention to anything else. I think like the fact that they're all famous on social media just kind of like already gave the video the leverage it needed. It didn't really need much else. Like the choreography could have been really bad, but nobody would have noticed because
it's them.
Exactly. And they would have killed it anyway. But the choreo was fine.
Yeah.
Do you think that perspective is different for us since we don't know them that well?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're focusing on other things as a whole, and she happens to focus on the dancers as individuals because she does know them all. It's like if we saw a video with all our friends in it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like a familiarity effect. Like as soon as it started, I was like, oh, there's Nat. And then I was like, oh, there's, you know, these other people that I know.
But I tend to try and, even though I do know people in certain videos, I do my best now, especially nowadays. I do my best to just look at it overall because I mean, I hate using this term, but like nowadays, I tend to things really don't capture me as well as they did back in then, you know, when I was new to all this stuff. Just seeing, it's like an overload of the same stuff, so that I just try and look everything as a whole now. So that's why I just focus on like the colors and like the general feel. I look at their facials. I mean, you did too, but yeah, that's about it. Why? Why?
No, just
okay.
Yeah, just broaden the spectrum.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think it's a negative thing or a bad thing that Annie focuses on the familiarity aspect of things, because you still didn't miss anything else. And I don't think it's bad that we focus on anything else or that we don't know them. I think if anything, it's a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're all looking at it from very different points of view, like you said.
Yeah. Anything else about this video?
No, I'm all good. All good. A-okay.
Awesome. Let's move on. Because Annie kind of brought this about. Our next topic is how social media is affecting dance. And actually, this was a recommended topic for us to cover by someone on YouTube by the name of Neds.
Neds?
Yeah, N-E. N as in Neds, E as in Eds, D as in Deads, S as in Sets.
Thanks, Russ.
You're welcome.
That was so
R as in
useful.
Russ. Yeah, so I'll actually read the comment. Hey, you guys should do an episode going more in depth about how social media is affecting dance. Philip Chavib went on a whole rant about how it's cheapening dance. Since everything put out by social media and famous artists that goes viral is perceived as being the best. In parentheses. Personally, I disagree that it's a problem since I'm pretty sure that's just how society's always worked. Also, I've seen Tucker Barkley, Kyle Hanagami, and others calling some of the young social media famous dancers and choreographers, such as Sean Liu, Casey Rice, the future of dance, quotes. And I want to hear what you guys think that means. So, great topic.
Great topic.
And actually ties in really well with this video because of all these young social media famous dancers. But let's start with... Actually, no, let's start with that. Are they the future of dance? Like, is that who they are? Well, I guess we can't really talk about that unless we talk about this first part. So yeah, let's talk about this first part. Philip Chabib again saying how social media as a general thing is cheapening dance, and you could probably just relate that to art in general. Cheapening it because of how people perceive as whatever is out there and stuff that goes viral as the best stuff that you can find, and they are the best dancers that you can find. Justin, what do you think, man?
I mean, I agree with him 100%. I think that the perspective that I'm coming from is one where there wasn't a video every week or even every day. Like nowadays, you'll get a video every day or several videos every day. Back when I first started dancing, there were teachers that told people in class, don't record my class. I do not want it on the internet. And it's very interesting. That's the juxtaposition.
Wow, good point. I forgot about that.
Yeah, like I remember we would always want to see Lyle's classes. He was like the local artist that was like blowing up, and we would always want to see like his classes to see how he was dancing, and we would never see anything because he didn't want people to record in his class. Right. And I think that made me want to go to class so much more. Yeah. Because I have to see it. Like he's a fantastic performer, and you see these clips of him, you want to be in those classes. Now I think that nowadays, because of social media exposure and everything like that, it's pushing people to only seek out these particular styles or these particular dancers for what they like you said is the best online. That means OGs are getting looked over, and a lot of choreographers that may not be getting the same kind of exposure. Right. I mean, there are a bunch of like teachers still that I think are like phenomenal that I don't see an internet presence for as much as I used to. Yeah. Like Laura Edwards is like one of them. I don't see her stuff online as much. She just got married. She just had a baby. Oh wow. And everything. But she like still kills it as a teacher. Yeah. And everything. And the people that take her class still learn so much from her. It's just that she's not as exposed as she used to be. I feel like I'm going off on a tangent now. But yeah, no, I like going back to it. He's not wrong because, I think that everyone is just looking at these future dancers as the standard now. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, in my eyes, you are right. Okay. You are correct. Annie, what about you?
I definitely see that point of view. For me personally, I feel like calling them the future of dance and how social media is affecting dance. Like, I wouldn't call it negative or positive in one definitive way. I would say it's kind of like a mutual thing. I don't really know how to articulate this best, but it's like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Because in one way, it could be cheapening dance by it's like everything people make now, not everything, again, that's a very general statement, but a lot of things that people make now, it's like, ooh, what can I do to best make it go viral? Like that's what's going on a lot of people's heads. There was actually just like a controversy on Instagram about this. I think it was Matt Stefanina and Josh Kalaki. They just made choreo to one of Kanye's newest songs, and it's like super inappropriate. I honestly don't know the name of it. And Kanye had reposted that video on his page, but the group he posted were all kids underage, and they were dancing to really explicit lyrics. And a lot of choreographers chimed in and were like, this is missing the point entirely. Like, why did he think this was okay? It was like kind of disheartening to see that, because people just made it but I mean, their excuse was like, the music was good, we just made it to dance. So what's the problem? But it's like, you also have to know your audience, in my opinion. It's like, these kids should not be dancing to stuff like that. It's kind of like, again, even making it even more meta. Back when Autumn Miller and Bailey Salk and all of them like were starting to become popular on YouTube, not even Instagram, when they were like 8 or 9, there was this one viral video of I think the song was called My Boyfriend's Back, or it was Single Ladies. It was Single Ladies, and it's these really, really small girls in like short tops and short bottoms, like moving really older than their age, and that was a huge problem. And now to see them like, you know, still part of the community in a different way is kind of interesting. But like, it just brings that back. It's like, when is something age appropriate or not? And does it matter because it's just dance, it's art, you know? So that's like, I feel like I'm kind of also going off on a tangent.
You are.
But anyway.
But actually, I was gonna bring it up during the review of the video, just because of how young female dancers are dressing nowadays, I guess, or you know, how their parents allow them to dress. Like, do you think it's appropriate at all that they should dress that way, or that they are dressing that way? I mean, I don't want to go on like this. Is going
it's like another.
But just like briefly. I guess for coming from you, since you are a lady.
See, it's hard because I don't want to tell somebody what they can and cannot wear.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And it's dance. It is art. And whatever you feel like you should put into your art form, go for it. If you think that's going to make it better. I'm not going to tell you like that's wrong, because I have my own way of dealing with it, and you'll have yours. So that's why it's like it's like a very blurred line.
Right. Yeah.
The argument that comes with that is that if I'm the one that has a problem with it, then it's me that's over-sexualizing that art form or whatever is being performed. And that's usually the argument against that kind of thing. But it's such a double-edged sword. Like you, at a
there's
certain,
no right answer.
I know, at a certain age, you'd want to be a little bit more modest. I guess that's an old thing. Like, I don't know. It's such a hard, like, whatever I say at this point,
it's not gonna be right.
It's not gonna be right.
Yeah. So let's move on. Let's just move on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm a man too.
Back to answer that question about it being, and I said a blessing or a curse. So blessing in the way that it's bringing dance to people's everyday lives. Like, people on Instagram that aren't dancers will be like, oh my gosh, did you see this one dance video? And I'd be like, of course I did. And I'd be able to list everybody who's a part of it, but they'd just be like, wow, this looks really cool. So it's kind of bringing dance to the forefront and making it popular again, because you know, working at the Kennedy Center right now and like seeing, you know, like the arts like are low-key on kind of like a decline, at least in those kind of institutions. So to have like this new generation of dance and just arts in general, it's a good thing, I think. But a curse in the way that, like I had mentioned before, it's kind of like a lot of times people just go in to dance now with the mindset of like, what can I do to make this viral? What can I do to look best on camera?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just to jump in, I want to bring up the fact that Instagram apparently is the new way to get recognized, and not YouTube. And I've been going about this all wrong. But yeah, that's so strange how everything went from YouTube, or you know, just from nothing to YouTube, now to Instagram. I guess because it's more mobile and it's easier to access.
Definitely.
But anyway, I totally agree with what you're saying, how it's kind of like a cursing and a blessing. A curse and a blessing. and how Justin, you said it's like a double-edged sword, because it's social media is great because it does connect a lot of people, to each other. It does spread, different dance styles of all the regions of the country or the world to the other regions of the country or the world. It just allows everyone to share and learn from each other. The downside I see to that, other than what you guys already said, is that now once one style becomes the popular style, that's the only one that's going to be known
or validated.
Yeah, thank you. Good word. I kind of related to like how like I keep bringing it back to like West Coast dancers because I mean it's LA and Southern Cali mostly. Even like bring it down to more specifically to like Keone Amari and how they dance, and now like that's becoming the norm for urban style dancing, not hip hop, but like urban style choreographed dance, and it's like people are starting to lose their individuality and their own personality, or even like their culture, because like we're dating ourselves. Back in our day, whenever like we met someone new or just saw how someone danced, we could always be like, oh, he or she must be from the Northeast, or from like Boston, or from like Philly, or from Chicago, etc. But now it's like, I don't know where you guys are from because we're all dancing the same way. Or I probably could. The only definite thing I could say is like, oh, those are East Coast dancers and these are West Coast dancers. Yeah, similar yet different. Same, but different.
Can I just jump in real quick? Russ made a really, really, really interesting point last week when we were talking about this, is that he almost wants dance to be not popular anymore, because that's going to force a renaissance of new ideas, new movement, things like that.
Yeah, I just want it to become so overloaded to the point where people are like, oh no, that's stupid now, or that's boring. Dance is dumb, because I mean before, dance was kind of low key, and it's just like it's like a niche thing that you had to get into, or you had to be born into and just train all your life. Yeah. Or learn on the street. When I say street, I mean from other people. But now it's like, it's the new thing to do. It's cool. Let's all do this. It's on social media. It's awesome. Let's do it. And you're right. It is cool. But I just want to get to the point where it gets so overloaded to the fact that people no longer want to do it, and then it forces more people to come out of the woodwork and be more creative and create awesome things that. I mean, like you said, it's like a renaissance. Yeah.
I just thought you'd like to hear that. Okay, cool.
Anyway, so when we say that, or when Philip Chabib went on that rant about how social media is cheapening dance, I think the overall trend is that, well, I mean, I don't want to say that because, like, even the commenter Ned's said, personally, I disagree that it's a problem, since I'm pretty sure that's just how society's always worked. I mean, it's true. I mean, think about like movies in general. Another art, the film industry. We only like the movies that are produced by big studios that, are really cool. Like, I mean, nowadays it's the comic book movies. But then there are these low-key indie films that are just, like crazy over the top, like awesome, or like, that hit all kinds of emotions that get emotions out of you, but people don't appreciate because people don't see them, because they aren't produced by big studios. You'd have to go to like Sundance or one of those other film festivals in order to appreciate it. So man, I can't say that it's a bad thing or that it is cheapening dance, because I mean the commentator is right. It's just how things have always worked, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that it could be money out of dance instructors' pockets?
I mean, yeah,
because I mean, I don't feel like people feel the need to go to class as much as they used to. Like back when we were first starting dancing, we took whatever we could. Like we were in a Vogue class, we were in a whacking class, we were in a locking class, house, choreography. Didn't matter who was teaching, we were in those classes. Nowadays, I don't really see people trying to explore the different spectrums of dance as much as they could. I mean, there are definitely classes available. I don't know if it's because the standard is being set by what is the most popular because of those social medias. Social medias.
All damn social medias.
Those social medias.
The social medias. Sorry to jump in. I think at the same time, it's just that there isn't an overload of classes now that you can take. You know, everyone wants to be a master class teacher.
Yeah.
You know, with that label. And like, I want to teach a class. Like, well, how long have you been dancing? Oh, I just started maybe last week, but you know, that kind of thing. So, I mean, for me at least, that's the reason why I stopped, because everyone who isn't necessarily a good teacher, not that they're bad dancers, but not necessarily a good teacher, wants to teach class. And I don't know, I feel like I don't get my money's worth that way.
That's very true.
But I don't know. Annie, what do you think?
Like, we're just talking about like people not going to class as much anymore. Or?
Sure. Or, you know.
I don't know. I was like, I keep going back to, in my head at least, because I wasn't saying it out loud, Galen Hooks. So she had like master classes and stuff, and we were talking about cameras and like people just performing and dancing for a camera. They only go to class to get filmed. Yeah. I took her master classes back in New York last year, and then I took an intensive with her almost a year to the day. And for the master classes, she specifically said she was not filming them because she wanted us to dance for ourselves. And that's something, like, it's so simple to say, but it's honestly so true. It's like, why are you dancing if you're only going to dance for a camera?
Ooh.
Like,
Ooh.
it's just literally just a piece of glass in front of you. There's nothing there. Like, you're going to give it something because you're giving it the intention of like other people seeing it, and you're going to be performing for them. But it's like, what about for you? Like, dance is for you. You started dance because you love dance. You continue to dance because you love dance. So in that way, social media kind of cheapens dance, because it's you yourself could be losing out on like the true reason why you started.
Great point.
So. Boom.
And just to play devil's advocate, a good thing about social media is that, well, one thing I can see, I think I mentioned it last week, the reason why, or one good thing that comes out of like these dance class videos is that, you know, especially for that area, LA, I mean, that's how you get booked.
Yeah.
Like, you become popular through social media, and that's how you get booked to get jobs. And, you know, that becomes your resume in essence, these dance videos.
Yeah.
And the only way to get discovered is that you put out videos of yourself just dancing and just put it out there.
That damn double-edged sword again.
Yeah, see, like, I don't necessarily even think like filming is a bad thing, but it can become oversaturated where it's just what are you doing, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it, but
well, and again, to relate to like the film industry, there are like tons of scripts out there and tons of resumes, or actresses and actors, aspiring actors out there, you know, an oversaturated industry also. It's just a matter of, I hate to say it, I think it's just luck, really, and chance. Like, I'm sure there are like thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of great dancers, probably all on the same level, can bring different things that another person can't. It's just a matter of who gets seen and who doesn't get seen, and who is looking, I guess you could say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, we could keep going back and forth on this, I think.
For hours, honestly.
You guys want to try?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So let's put that aside now about how social media may or may not be cheapening dance. Let's talk about how some people are saying that these social media famous dancers, young ones at least, are like the future of dance. I know you talked about it earlier, Annie. Justin, what do you think, man?
Honestly, I don't disagree with that. I think that they are part of that future, and what they make of it is really in their hands. You know, we're at some point they are the legacy that the previous dancers or the previous leaders of dance leave behind. But what they do with it is really going to make or break where the culture goes, and where, you know, dance in general will go. So I don't disagree with that. To label them as the only, I don't agree with. You know, because there's going to be that one kid that never danced before that's going to go to a class and get inspired and just blow up because he discovered something in him that he didn't realize was like what was there at all. So like he's gonna be part of that revolution, or that
she.
Or she. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
She. Or they, I'm not sure what their
Yeah, exactly.
pronouns might be.
All
Thank
respect.
you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're
Thank
welcome. Hey, you're welcome.
That's right. My best friend, y'all.
Yeah. I know. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I know. There's gonna be someone like that, and that label will fit them too. They are going to be what changes dance in general, or starts that revolution, or that renaissance of sorts.
One thing I really hope, I don't disagree with you,
Mm-hmm.
but one thing I really hope is that these young dancers learn to find their own style of dance.
Yes,
like
amen.
way of dance. Because they are great dancers, but they are great dancers or performers of other people's works of art, choreographed pieces. Because I don't think, at least, I don't know, because the only person I do know that does this is Sean Liu, who actually choreographs his own, pieces. Annie, do you know if any of these young dancers are choreographers too?
Yeah. A couple of them like hold collab classes or they teach by themselves. Like I know Nat Bepko and Sienna Lau, who wasn't in the video. They've definitely held joint classes before. Casey just taught her first contemporary class, I think, very recently.
Wow. Okay. Well, she's young though.
Yeah. So they do a little bit of both, and I think, and they like to freestyle as well. So like their freestyling kind of like informs what their style will be. So it'll be interesting to see if they do, unless they strictly want to just be dancers, or if they want to become like teachers and choreographers. It'd be interesting to see what they decide to go for.
There is a distinction.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because in my opinion, in order to be the future of dance, you do need to be like a creator, not just a doer, I guess.
Yeah, an innovator of sorts.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good to hear that a lot of these young kids, these young dancers are, creating themselves. So I hope they find their own way of things.
Me too.
That's all I got to say about that. How about you guys?
I'm all good.
Yeah.
Cool. I got another message. Okay.
Mr. Popular over here.
No, it's just James. James, go away.
Woo!
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on. Dance versus school. Our second topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did want to talk about this just because you are still in school, Annie, and I know you are taking dance as a major, correct?
Yes.
What kind of dance? By any chance?
So at school, it's postmodern dance. It's different than what I had done before college. So
yeah, because if what you did before college was modern, this is post.
Exactly. Postmodern and modern are pretty different. So it was definitely new ways of moving for me. I was honestly very uncomfortable with it at first, but I was happy to be uncomfortable with it because I wanted to step out of my comfort zone and kind of just, because I had done that for 4 years straight, so I wanted something different. So it was nice. And in it, I've been able to like find my own style and like make things. And now that I'm on C-Funk, I've been on C-Funk since my freshman year. I've let the hip hop influence and the contemporary influence inform what my style is. And I just said that before. I literally said the same words. But yeah.
So let's talk about that. How is dancing on a collegiate team, Capital Funk, and a pretty big one in our area, probably the biggest one in our area? How does that affect your schooling in the sense that does it? Because for us, we'll speak on this later, but I just want to know from you since you're still in school.
Yeah.
But how is it balancing, doing that big old balance there?
I'd be lying if I said it was easy. It is one of the hardest things ever, especially as one of the 5 captains. And because I love this team so much, there will be times where I'm like, I don't want to do my homework because I have responsibilities for the team that I have to do. And I've already done that. But see, the thing I say about myself is I'm, what is it? I can't think of the word. Not reliable, but I'm a good procrastinator in the way that I know that I'll procrastinate, but I know I'll get it done.
Oh.
So even if I do put it off, I'd be like, I'll hate myself as I'm doing it, but I'll do it later.
Right, yeah.
I'll just have to adjust my schedule accordingly. So that's been kind of hard, but since I'm a senior now, I really have to stay on top of my game and try to not do that.
Are you on track to graduate in May?
Yeah. I am.
Better than way better than us.
Yeah, my parents would not be happy, and I would not be on the team if I was not. So,
what would you give in terms like of advice to those who are in the same shoes as you? Not necessarily as a captain of a team, but
just a member,
just a member of a collegiate team who is also in school, not necessarily for dance either, just in school, like say for like engineering or law or what's the business or something like that.
I don't really know if this is any good advice, but and it's gonna sound like kind of basic, but just know your limits and listen to your body. There have been times where I was just like, oh, I know I'm tired, but it's fine. Let me just like keep working myself to the ground. You get burnt out so much faster when you do that. You can save so much energy. And like maybe, so as a psych major, something we learn about memory and cognition is like ways of studying. So like distributed learning, like don't cram. Yeah. Like it's easy to do. It seems like the best option. It's absolutely not the best option. So just make sure you like break things up and study when you need to. It's annoying, but even like 10 minutes per night before a test will really make a difference in the end. Another thing I like to do is something that my dad taught me. I like to look at things at the big picture, and I get overwhelmed way too fast.
Yeah.
So I stress out, but then my dad tells me compartmentalize and look at everything in small portions, because then it's much more manageable that way. So if you have a huge to-do list, break it up into like 2 by 2 and just like, or something.
Sure.
It's a lot less stressful to look at it that way than to be like, I have 500 things to do, rather than, oh, by the end of the day, I should finish 5 of these things on my list.
So what takes the front seat and what takes the back seat when it comes to school and dance?
I will always put dance over everything else. It's just a habit.
That's usually how it goes.
It's my life. Like I would not be who I am or where I am right now if I didn't have dance. But there are times where it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't, go out dancing tonight, and maybe just do homework. And not even like a turn up, let's go out dancing, but more just like, let me not go to the studio when I don't need to.
Yeah. But sometimes.
I mean, that too. 21, I can do that. But yeah, it's because I've definitely had times where I just didn't feel like doing homework, and it would be like 12 o'clock at night, and I would just walk over to the studio and just dance for 2 hours. But even I would say, though, if you feel like you need a creative break, that's absolutely fine as well. Because even after that, that's when I would see myself become more productive, when I just stepped away for a second. So I guess like know your limits, listen to your body. So sleep when you need to sleep. Like honestly, do that. It's terrible when you have no energy. Compartmentalize, and then allow yourself creative breaks, because that will help you a lot, I think. At least it's helped me.
It would have helped us because, like, well, at least for Justin, I know that dance was also front seat for you.
Yeah.
Schools took the back seat.
Always. I do not regret any of the decisions I've made in my life.
Yeah, you can't.
Because you did it.
Yeah, because it is what it is. I finished school. It's done.
Yeah.
Do I wish I finished earlier? Yes. But only because I think the reason why is because my goals changed midway through. When I first got into dance, I started taking it more seriously. I wanted to be in the industry. I wanted to move to LA, try to live that, starving artist like lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like not knowing like whether or not I'm gonna be eating yet. You know,
that scares me.
It's scary as hell, but I was ready to do it back then. Mm-hmm. And as you guys know, and some of the viewers, you guys don't know this, I got sick, and that completely. Oh yeah, that happened. Yeah. And it's funny that actually my anniversary date from my remission is 2 days ago. Oh. So 6 years.
Yeah.
And everything. So I got cancer, and that completely like changed up my perspective. Like, okay, you know what? I can't live the starving artist dance style because I will die. So no. So I was like, like your focus changes at that moment. That's when I realized like, okay, I need to like focus on finishing school. And that's when I kind of knuckled down and finished everything. Mm-hmm. Did it take me a little bit longer? Yes, it did. Do I regret? That's why I don't regret the decisions I've made, because I've lived a lot through dance and everything, but now I feel comfortable because I have my degree and a full-time job and everything. It's great.
Yeah.
So
for me, it never really took. It was never in my mind that I was ever going to be like a professional dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I never wanted it. I never wanted that. But I love dance so much that, you know, it did happen to take over. It was more of a thing that I just didn't want to let anyone down because I was on a team or whatever.
Like us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, like, I mean, you guys are my closest friends, and, you know, I pretty much followed every footstep that we all took, I guess.
What was it? Did the BoyScouts, Major Def, Culture Shock?
and then you kept going and did other things, and I was like, nope. I'm tired now. But like, you know, all throughout school, since the third or fourth grade, I've been in band up through college, you know, into like a jazz band and funk band. But then, you know, I found a way to make music, you know, still happen and be cool, I guess you could say, with dance. And then I found locking, and then, you know, the rest is history. But there came a point where I was in school, and it's just like, you know, what am I doing? I'm seeing people pass me because I'm dancing and I'm doing cool things, but, you know, there are these kids walking by me who are getting older and graduating, and then it's getting replaced with younger people. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, I should probably do something now. But yeah, I don't know. I never looked down on those who wanted to make dance their thing. I was like, more power to you if you can do it. I know I can't, so 100%. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And for those that do it, for those who do it and who make it, you know, fantastic. Like, good job. You can do something that a lot of people will say that they wish they did, or that they wish they could have done but didn't, just because of the mere fact that they didn't put 100% into it.
Yeah.
So props to you, Annie, for doing what you're doing. It sucks. I know that.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're almost done. You're almost there.
I know, which is the scary part, because post-grad, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah, that's a new thing. That's another thing. Yeah. I'm so glad I'm way past it.
Yeah. Don't need a post-grad.
Oh, man. So let's talk about collegiate dancing. It's kind of like a stepping stone into, like, the industry, I guess. You start, because, like, that's when things get serious. You're old enough to have, like, that mindset of, you know, just to be... what do you call it? Mature of things.
Yeah.
Mature about things. I mean, there are all those young dancers like we just talked about, like, you know, Casey and Sienna, you know, But for most dancers, and like in the eve of social media, the new thing to do is that when you're in college, you're going to be the cool thing to do is dance, pretty much, especially with urban dance and hip hop. How do you guys think that's a good process? Because, like, I feel like every school now has like a team, or at least when we started, every school had a team. Every area had that one school who had a really good team. And then, you know, those start to become like the popular crews and stuff. Justin, what do you think of that?
I think it's good that people have the options to go wherever they want. Like, I don't know if that completely like answers your question, but like, in this, especially like in this community now, there are so many different teams with such different styles, and where you go is dependent on a few factors. Like, are they doing a style of dance that you like, or is it easy to get to? Is it within a proximity that you're comfortable with? And those are the factors that'll influence like where you go and like who you interact with. You know, and then there are other things too, like, you know, people have said, like, what's in the water for Capital Funk? Like, why do people love each other so much on the team, or seek out those, like, relationships within the team and everything? And that might not suit you. Some people might want to be, like, on a team where they're not, like, where they're just there to dance and they don't want to make friends. I met someone once that was like, I had no intention of making any friends here. And I was like, dang, that sucks.
They could have too many friends.
That's true, but I don't think so. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't.
Well, for me, like, if I were to join a team now,
yeah,
I've told you this, but like, I'm done making friends.
Yeah,
like I have my set friends who I know will be friends, because, like, for the rest of my life. Because Annie, I'm not trying to scare you or anything. But, like,
no, you're good.
But get out of my house. It's just that, you know, when you get to that certain age where you start to realize who are your actual, like, friends and who are just, like, your acquaintances and who are your teammates. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know where I was going with this.
No, I mean,
He's trying to kick me out. That's what he's trying to tell me.
and yet you're still here.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the point was, but collegiate.
So like, I mean,
College.
Cabo Modern started out as a collegiate team.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it
Oh, I
still
didn't know
is.
that,
Yeah,
actually.
in fact, it still is.
Oh,
It's
it is.
not affiliated with UCI anymore, apparently.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
yeah, correct. They still go to Prelude NorCal. They're still, doing the usual competing and stuff like that. The regular team, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, before like they got on like ABDC and stuff like
Yeah.
that, they were just a collegiate team or at least it started that way. And shout out to Arnell for doing big things with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
love that guy.
Yeah. So like with the eve of collegiate dancing, would you put that on the same level as like professional dancing? Professional urban choreo, I guess you could say.
I feel like some teams, yeah.
Yeah, I think that you can get the same quality dancing from a collegiate team as you could from like a pre-professional team or even a professional team. Like I back in the day, I can't believe I keep saying that. The only thing that people sought after was to join Culture Shock, and then nowadays, that's not the only option anymore. Some people are staying on their collegiate teams to build them to professional standards. I think that's great. There are a lot of people that are Capital Funk alumni, like Q. Someone asked me once, it was like, why doesn't Q join Culture Shock? Yeah, I'm sorry. Why doesn't Q join Culture Shock? And it wasn't until recently that, I joined Capital Funk. I was like, he never needed to because he was happy where he was, building up Capital Funk. So I think you can get the same quality or build up your team to be the same quality as a professional company.
Let me shoot this over to Annie now. Justin, you just mentioned how people stay on their collegiate teams for quite a while and build up that team. And I do see the benefits of that. But do you think, I mean, it is a collegiate team. So Annie, do you think there are any negative aspects to, having people out of college still remain on the team? I guess it's hard to ask you since you're going to be, you could potentially call out your own teammates.
I mean, just think of Brad.
No, see, okay, I think it really just depends on the person. For somebody like Brad, he always had amazing creative input, and it's because he had so much experience and he knows the nature of the team. He knows how the team worked. So obviously we're going to respect whatever he says. Like, not that like what he says is end all be all, but it's something that we can take into consideration like heavily and be like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. But at the same time, and like this is not just to say only Brad, but just like people who have been on the team for a while that aren't in college anymore. But also like on the other side, it's like there's always room for new ideas and new people. So having, I guess, like the fresher crop like coming in is also okay. Like change is okay, and that's something that we've all been trying to accept.
Yeah.
So I don't really think there's a particular negative aspect to having people post college like on a collegiate team.
Sure.
It just might be for their own good that they might feel too stagnant or just something along those lines.
Just to play devil's advocate here.
Oh boy.
Well, one thing I could potentially see as a negative thing is that the more people remain on their collegiate team. I mean, I see. Okay, two things. The more people stay on their collegiate teams, or people out of college who want to join these collegiate teams, and they may not have even been on it, throughout college. Is that, well, one, I feel like it kind of scares any new, especially young dancers, to join that said team because, I mean, they would look up to that team, right? Obviously. But then they would feel like there isn't any room on that team because of all these great dancers who just will not leave, or older dancers who are wanting to join at the same time. One. And then two, I really want, my problem, I guess, also relates to how people always want to travel to LA to like really build themselves up and, become and like build up the industry. But like, I really want people to stay and build up some kind of a community in our area in terms of like, especially like DMV, but you could relate this to like any other area like Philly, Chicago, New York, whatever. Well, New York is big too, but like, you know what I mean? I kind of want the older generation who are still remaining on teams to like find a new thing to do, like provide or like build up a community outside of that team, but still within our area, or make a new team or something like that. something to bring more creativity. It's kind of like a monopoly of sorts.
Yeah.
For the area, before it was just Culture Shock, but then we still had all these up and coming collegiate teams to kind of like really make ourselves want to do better and become more creative. But if there is this one thing that everyone's doing, and it's not just like, say, like Culture Shock or like Capital Funk or Major Def or whatever, or any of like or anything else, then people will get complacent and like, that is the DC area now. That is the Chicago area. That is the Philly area. That one team, as opposed to like, the community that it is. So that's just me being devil's advocate. I have no problem with one way or another. But, just to try and see both sides of the same coin, I guess you could say. Justin, what do you think of that? Of what I had to say?
Generally, I mean, I you're not wrong. Am I playing like Angel's Advocate?
A different devil.
Okay. No, I mean, I think that's a good. I mean, that's a good way to think about it. Is that those that have that institutional knowledge, that experience of dance and everything, should do something with that in their community. Not just hold it so close to their hearts. I mean, it is nice to stay on your teams. I mean, I totally understand why some people do.
Yeah, and me too. The sense of whole family, the family aspect of it. Like, you don't want to leave your family to start a new one necessarily. I mean, we do, but
yeah.
I mean, I get it. And you do want to keep your ideas and your experiences to your family because you really want your family to succeed.
Yeah.
I get that. It's just,
But then, like, there's also this other thing where you get labeled as, like, team hopper or,
so don't join a lot of teams.
No loyalty or something like that. And that's unfortunate because they ignore. This is just personal experience because I've been called that before. But, like, I always put in my time on the teams that I was on. Like, I may have only been on Major Definition for, like, 2 non-consecutive fall semesters.
It's better than me.
Yeah.
One semester.
One semester. And then one where you auditioned and it didn't come.
Yeah.
But, like, I still, for me personally, I still gave choreography to that team. I still repped Major Def because, that's a team that still gave me something that I still, to this day, hold on to. And it's an unfortunate circumstance that you can get labeled like that just because you're bringing your knowledge elsewhere,
Well, there's no shame in growing.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in learning from different aspects and different people. I mean, we just talked about it. Like, try and take as much class, the same aspect, try and learn from different teams because they do have different things to offer.
100%.
I think the idea of a team hopper comes from if it happens often and consecutive and consistently.
Yeah.
And not just like, sticking to one thing for a while.
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh, okay, now I'm done with you, I'm going to go over here.
But we do know, but the thing is, we do know people like that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, there is that fine line. I don't think it's necessarily, that.
It's the whole pop and lock thing again. It's like people just kind of lump them together because they don't know the distinction.
Annie, how about you? What do you think of that? Of like my devil's advocate standpoint?
I pretty much agree with like what Justin said about like, yes, you can like hone your craft, but also give it to the community too. The community gave you so much. That's why you have your craft. So yeah, it would be nice to see some people, I don't want to say stay behind as if we're like holding them back, but to stay in their home, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
Get in your home.
Your home.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I don't really know how to articulate that, but
so like, what do you? I hate to put you on the spot, but like,
No,
what
it's okay.
what do you plan to do like after you graduate? Will you stay on the team?
Okay, so that's actually something that I was really thinking about. And today in particular was actually like kind of a revelation for to me. Wow, that was not English. I said revelation for to me.
It's old English.
A revelation
for to me.
For me. So at my internship today, we had a resume workshop. And we had to bring in our resumes, and we just were under the impression that we were gonna give them in, and like this guy was gonna just like mark them up and tell us what's wrong with them. But he wound up being somebody who's around our age, not much older than us, and he's like doing big things. He was actually about to hop on a train to head to Lincoln Center today for an event because he's like, you know, doing great stuff.
Wow.
And he went through our resumes with us individually in front of our group, and he like interviewed us on the spot just to get a sense of who we are as people rather than just like our papers. And he asked me, because on my resume I had my arts experience, because I'm so fidgety with this. Also, C-Funk Pop Socket. No. So I'm so all over the place. So I have my arts experience on there. So I put like my high school because it's performing arts, and then all the intensives that I've taken with like Ailey and Graham and things like that, because I think it's important. But, you know, for the real world, you wouldn't necessarily keep that on your resume. Yeah. So one of the things he asked me, he was like, okay, you know, after you graduate or whatever, what would be your ideal job? Like money and whatever thing. Everything's like taken care of. Like, you want to worry about anything. He's like, would you dance? And I was like, absolutely. And he was like, that's the answer like I wanted to hear, because you can tell like when you talk about dance, like your eyes light up. He's like, so what were you thinking of doing post grad? And I was like, you know, like I was thinking of maybe doing like grad school for arts management. And he's like, don't do that. He's like, if you're not going to love it, like why spend another couple of years in school and spend money to do that? He's like, if you want to dance, like go for it. And like, wow. I don't really know how to explain the rest of the conversation, because I was kind of just like enlightened. And I kind of like started to reevaluate like my choices. I really only wanted to go to grad school because my parents told me I had to, unless I had like a perfect job like lined up right outside of school, which realistically is not how this happens nowadays. So I was like, I don't want to go to grad school. I know I'm a psych major, but I'm not going to go for psych because I don't want to be a counselor. I don't want to be a psychologist. And I don't really want to go for arts management either. Like, I do enjoy what I'm doing at the Kennedy Center, but that's more education and like programming and production planning and whatever. So I'd rather do stuff like that, more behind the scenes art stuff, you know? So I just really sat there and I was like, post grad, do I want to just like take that leap of faith and like audition for a company or start my own thing? I don't really know yet. And to answer the question about like, would I stay on my team? I really want to stay in DC. Like, I'm not ready to leave yet. I feel like, because I had never done the whole sleepaway camp thing or anything. So coming to DC was my first real trip away from home by myself. So I've come into my own in this city. So the city kind of feels like it's part of me now. And they always say like, home is where the heart is. And like, I've gotten into like low-key arguments with my parents because they're like, come home. Like New York is home. And like, yes, New York is home. It's my favorite city in the entire world because like my family's there and everything. But DC is also my home. You know, this team and my friends at school have made this my home.
But mostly your team, right?
Mostly my team. So it's like, I don't want to leave that yet. So, but it's like, would I stay here because of the team? And it's a very big proponent for me. Like, I would 100% stay here just for C-Funk. And that's like, sounds crazy to people because they're like, it's just a college dance team, but it's more than that. Like, I was just talking to Justin about this before, and people don't realize how special of a team that they're on until they leave it. Like, C-Funk is just, you will feel like something's missing if you're not a part of it. At least that's what I think. And not everybody will feel as passionate as me, and I understand that, but I don't know. So post-grad, I would totally stay on C-Funk. I would totally stay in DC. I just don't know quite what I would do yet, and I'm deciding if I should just go for it and just dance. So just
I have a breathing problem.
So yeah, that was kind of a convoluted answer, but
I don't know what I asked, to be honest.
Oh, you were just asking me like, I was like, darn it. I talk a lot.
So it's like,
I love tangents.
It's like filibustering.
I would probably be very good at that.
You would be really good at filibustering.
My question was, would you stay on the team? And she gives me a background of everything.
Yeah,
I'm just like, wow.
Sorry, viewers.
That's all the time I have. But that's great. That's great insight into what you're thinking. Because like, for people who do join collegiate teams or who leave their home city, I guess, to go to school somewhere else, like say DC, you are shaped. That's where you become like a real adult, and that's where you get shaped into like who you are going to be for the rest of your life. So I don't blame you, or I don't blame you for, wanting to stay, or I can understand at least. I can understand why you would. So like, it's tough because like, what do you do in terms of dance when you have a big family in terms of Capital Funk, but then you want to like do things you want to do like other things.
Yeah. So
it's like, I get it. You have quite a dilemma that I'm glad I don't have any part of.
That feels so great.
So good luck with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
It's pretty rough, but I know I could do it.
Enjoy it while you have it though.
Yeah.
You have one more semester and a half.
Yeah. Ooh, it's kind of crazy to think. I still feel like I just got here.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm glad you want to stay, because the more people that leave, Justin, the worse this area becomes.
No one knows about that yet.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. You just outed me.
Welp.
You announced it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, welp. Anyway, so that's all I have to say about dance for school. I mean, this is all about, I guess, I wanted to hear like a personal experience of someone who's still in school and still.
I might have said too much, but
no, not necessarily. It's good because then it's good to hear all points of things, all point of views.
I'm almost positive there are people that can relate to where you're at in your
absolutely.
life right now. They're like most dancers that are your age that are still in school can feel the way that you do.
In fact, I would say all dancers.
Yeah.
Because we just want to dance. That's.
School's just holding me back.
For me, I just didn't know what was going on. I was just having fun.
Yeah, I'm just kind of.
It was a lot of
doing
fun.
my thing.
Yeah.
And
that's what college is for. So let's go back. No, I can't do school.
You want to study?
Nope.
Oh,
No.
don't remind me.
I don't want to read anymore.
I don't even want to prepare for this podcast.
That's fair.
You don't even have notes for this.
Hey, I usually do.
Yeah.
Just not today.
Yeah, you're right. Well, especially with World of Dance.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I have to say about that. Any last notes from you, Justin?
No.
Cool. Cool. Annie?
I'm good too.
Awesome. Thank you guys for coming. And I mean, Justin, you're always here. Annie, special thank you to you for coming.
Me.
Of course, you are welcome here anytime. Justin, where can people find you, man?
You can find me at
Instagram.
Wrong preposition. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, Wonderfell88. That's 1L in Fell.
And 2 8s.
And 2 8s. Thank you very much, Russ.
You're welcome. And Annie, where can people find you?
So my Instagram handle's a little strange, but it's at Stuffy's Cookies. It's a long story, so I won't get into it, but it's STUFFIES and then the word cookies. And that's me.
Awesome. Twitter? No.
I don't have a Twitter, nah.
Good.
Yeah. Well, you have one.
Hey.
So do I. It's just there.
I mean, as you can tell today, I'm pretty verbose, so I don't think I can shorten my tweets.
Fair point. Fair point.
Good word.
Thank you. I used to want to be an English major, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm starting to write a book, but I don't know. That's going slow.
Yeah. It's a good book.
You read one chapter.
Hey, it's so good. I want the second one. You should say something about your class this past weekend.
Oh, okay. So I taught class at UNC Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Prism, Season 3, Sapphire. It was awesome because, well, I mean, I love teaching down there, especially because of the fact that everyone is so hungry to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Up here, it's kind of like everyone just dances so much and it becomes oversaturated. And like we just talked about with taking class, either they don't because they don't want to do like lockings, which is what I taught. Or, you know, if it's not someone they know, either if it's not someone famous or someone that they're friends with, they're not really going to take class, generally. But it was nice down there because they are so hungry to learn and so open to everything, too.
Absolutely.
I taught alongside of Jisoo and Austin. Their classes were great. Justin, you took all 3.
I did. First time in a while that I've been able to do that physically, but it felt good.
Good for you. And I taught. I did teach a locking set with choreography, but it was mostly all grooves. It was kind of like the way I explained it. I don't think I explained it to them, but the way I explained it to myself, how I wanted to teach it, was that it was kind of like how I would start off in a cipher. Like, I would just start being on the side, just doing basic grooves, and then I would start to build upon it, and eventually you just start locking. So I kind of taught a piece that was kind of like structured that way, but I also made them cipher in the sense that they performed it for each other in a circle, and they were just moving in, grooving with each other, moving out, etc. Just kind of locking. Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was more fun than I thought it would be.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's probably one of the best like locking workshops I've ever been a part of.
Good.
And not because like you're my friend or anything like that. If I didn't like you, I'd still think that was a really, really great workshop.
And sometimes I know you don't like me, so I can be. Anyway, and like half of it wasn't even locking, right?
Yeah.
Half of it was just almost stepping. Yeah.
Stepping.
Like two-step.
Not stepping. Stepping.
Yeah. But like foot stepping. Like walking forward, walking backwards, and doing two-step and back.
And it's interesting to see the people that have trouble with that.
Yeah.
That's incredible that a basic two-step is something that,
I even mentioned it during class, and like the biggest thing was getting people to come out of their shells, because I mean funk isn't for everybody, obviously, and then making you two-step and like slam your foot down to it and really get into it can be daunting for some people, especially if they're not comfortable. But as dancers, we need to be able to perform and emote and just come out of your shell and just be out there. So eventually I got them all out there, especially when they got into that cipher and really fed off of each other. Like that goes to the whole like social aspect of the media, or just or just family in the sense of your team. So I think I was able to teach. Well, hopefully I was able to teach more than just locking and fundamentals and even grooving. Just a whole aspect of dancing with each other.
Yep.
But that was my class.
Yep. It was great.
And I was just supposed to give my Instagram handle.
Sorry.
As always, I'm Russ Santos. You can find me at Lock and Robin on Instagram and all the other good stuff out there. I mostly just use Instagram, but even rarely, because it's just hard. It's tough because it just feels like work at a certain point. It's like, oh, I have to share my life now.
I love Instagram.
Maybe I'm just too old. But yeah, you can find me there. Thank you guys for listening and, stopping by again. I hope you're not tired of us. But as you may or may not know, we did take our second topic today, or our first topic, from a comment. So leave comments about what you want us to talk about or what you might want to know from us, because then we'll do it. We have nothing else to do.
Absolutely.
But listen and talk. So do that. Leave a comment on the bottom. Check out dancefam.tv to find out all our other stuff. Check us out on DanceFamtv, at DanceFamtv on Instagram, and all the other good stuff. #TheSession. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Bye.